Take a look at these pictures from Bardstown. That's a warehouse full of Jim Beam bourbon that started burning about 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have live team coverage. A Jackson County man says he's alive today because his brother made an urgent early morning visit just seconds before flash floodwaters swept through his mobile home. And an LEX 18 Consumer Watch alert for you tonight involving General Motors, Mazda, and Nissan recalls. That's all coming up now on LEX 18 News at 5:30.
Now, from WLEX, with coverage you can count on, this is LEX 18 News at 5:30.
Breaking news out of Nelson County tonight. A Jim Beam warehouse is engulfed in flames after a possible lightning strike. Good evening, I'm Lisa Kaplan.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Thanks for joining us at 5:30. 1 million gallons of pure bourbon went up in flames this afternoon after a possible lightning strike in Bardstown. Richard Lom joins us on the phone from Nelson County with more about that raging fire at the Jim Beam distillery. Rich, what's the latest?
Yeah, the latest right now is, as you said, that one warehouse, 20,000-barrel warehouse, I should add, is totally destroyed, a complete loss at this moment, just a giant ball of flame right now. The two other nearby warehouses that firefighters were worried about earlier are still being wetted down by fire trucks, but they say that at this point it appears that they are out of danger. That is some good news. But the really big effort that they're looking at right now and the cause for concern that they're focusing their efforts on at the moment is to try to keep some of this unburned bourbon from flowing away from the site and try to keep that contained.
To give us an idea of the status of the fire as far as how it's spreading, and is it involving anything else right now?
Right now, the main body of fire is confined to the original building. We do have product that is running down the drainage creek, headed to the local river here in town. At present, we are working on damming that creek up to keep the product from getting to the river.
Any evacuations of either Jim Beam personnel or the other warehouses in the area?
No, the fire was pretty much contained to this complex. We did not have to evacuate any of the surrounding industrial park.
What about the cause? I know it was talked about lightning as a possibility.
There is a possibility of lightning. We had some pretty good a pretty bad electric storm come through an hour or so before we got the call on this, so I know lightning was striking over in this area before we got the call, so that's a definite cause that we will be looking into. We will have the State Fire Marshal's office down, most likely ATF will be down also.
The threat
right now, once again, that flowing bourbon, that unburned bourbon that is heading into the creek and that area flowing away from the site is the cause for concern. They say that it has ignited some trees along the way. There are some houses as well along the way that they're keeping a very close eye on. But the good news in all this so far is no one has been injured in this fire. We're covering the news live in Nelson County. Kevin, back to you.
All right, Richard Lom at that big distillery fire in Bardstown. We'll have much more about this developing story coming up on LEX 18 News at 6. Now, you may recall just 3 years ago, a similar massive fire broke out in Anderson County. It was back in 2000. A Wild Turkey distillery in Lawrenceburg caught fire, destroying a 7-story warehouse containing 1 million gallons of bourbon. That fire resulted in one of the worst fish kills in state history. This after massive amounts of bourbon spilled into the Kentucky River.
Now tonight's LEX 18 big story. It also involves the weather.
A Jackson County man has quite the story to tell tonight. He almost lost his life this morning in flash flooding. Richard Childs has tonight's big story at 5:30.
Yeah, and I've got my nephew and niece. He's put them in there. By the time 3 minutes, the trailer was gone. Lost about everything I had now.
In a rush of surging water, Billy Bailey and his family lose their home and everything they own. Quick rising waters of the Pigeon Roost Creek knocked the mobile home from its foundation at about 5:30 this morning. Billy Bailey and his family escaped with their lives only because of the quick thinking of his brother Tim.
You got sparks flying everywhere, the electricity's out?
Yeah, we had to stay in the water to get them out. Take a chance or leave them. We just went ahead and took it.
With 4 feet of rushing water, Tim Bailey dives into the water to pull out his niece and nephew, watching helplessly as their possessions wash away.
By the time they got them in hit, the truck started floating them down, so we just dove across through yonder and hit the guardrails up there.
In about 3 minutes of flash flooding, the Baileys lost everything. 2 trailers, their home, but they were able to manage to save the most important thing, and that's each other. We're covering the news from Jackson County. Richard Childs, LEX 18 News.
Early morning storms may also be to blame for a fire in Louisville. Fire officials think lightning started a fire that damaged a grocery store. The fire began around 4 this morning at the J&M Food Mart. An air conditioning unit on top of the store caught fire about the same time the severe weather hit. No one was hurt. LEX 18 Chief Meteorologist Bill Meck will have more on the weather in just a minute with the LEX 18 Storm Tracker forecast.
A 4-year-old Mount Sterling girl who police originally thought may have been kidnapped has been found after someone saw her picture on TV. Police began looking for the girl after she was picked up last night at her babysitter's by her mother's boyfriend. Francisco Garcia picked up 4-year-old Maria Yenger around 5:30, but no one had seen them for about 20 hours. This afternoon, police found Maria, Garcia, and the car he was driving at a Mount Sterling gas station.
I believe he's going to his friend's house, and then someone talked him into going somewhere. He had $50 with him and a car that I'm surprised made it to his friend's house.
Garcia speaks little English and says he got lost and wound up in Indiana. Police say neither Garcia nor the girl was injured.
Now, LEX 18 Storm Tracker weather with Max Track Doppler, the most powerful live Doppler in Kentucky.
And that's the thing, it is live as it's happening. This is all real time, and we have some severe weather to talk about. Let's go straight to the LEX 18 Max Track Live Doppler, and as we do so, we're going to show you the brand new severe thunderstorm warning, at least the thunderstorm responsible for it. This is going down to Harlan County. For you folks there, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued until 7 o'clock. This is a pretty slow-moving thunderstorm coming down off some of the higher peaks, and it is working its way to the east. Putney at 6:16 as that storm looks to pass just basically through downtown Harlan, and that storm is working its way to the east or just a little bit south of due east at around 20 miles an hour. And you can see also the lightning in association with that. We have other severe thunderstorms. This one has a history of producing some fairly large hail. This one is going through Menifee and Morgan counties, and it's just now coming in on West Liberty. These thunderstorms, again, all capable of very heavy rain and intense lightning. And keep in mind, it's neither the lightning or the rain that makes the storm severe. It is only the size of the hail or the degree of wind. The storm that's backed by Frenchburg, that's one we've been tracking one all afternoon, or at least over about the last hour or so. There again is the live sweep from the Max Track Doppler radar. And again, heavy rain, intense lightning, all possible from that thunderstorm. There are plenty more out there. We'll take you off a little bit more to the southeast here, right along the Mountain Parkway in Stanton. That thunderstorm, although not severe, is certainly capable of packing a pretty good punch as it works its way, again, through some of the rural areas of Powell County. You see that sweep coming by. We update 3 times a minute with the live Doppler radar here. So again, that is what we are looking at. Big picture one more time. You can see there are other showers and thunderstorms scattered around the area. We'll zoom in on the storms that are getting ready to move into Pulaski County. These coming out of the southeastern part of Casey County, just south of Yosemite. And again, all of these are headed off to the east and southeast. Heavy rain, intense lightning, all probable with these thunderstorms. Severe thunderstorm warning for Harlan County. That is in effect until 7 o'clock. And again, as we show you the regular graphics here, we'll show you that there we go. It's till 7 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning for Harlan County, Morgan County until 6:30, Menifee County, that one's expiring shortly at 5:45, but we have a flood warning for Menifee County that's in effect until 7:45. There's also a flood watch up for eastern Kentucky until tomorrow morning. It's almost the same map we left you with on Friday. Big area of low pressure just sitting and spinning. Little front is going to try and push through tomorrow. As it does so, we're going to dry the atmosphere out a little bit, but still an isolated thunderstorm is going to be a possibility. The high is going to try and build in, try and keep the front a little bit further to the south as we get into Wednesday, but still the possibility of at least some isolated to scattered thunderstorms does exist as we get into the latter part of Wednesday. And another front's coming down, but that one should actually dry the whole atmosphere out as we get set for next weekend. Temperatures reflect where the rain has been, and it's cool. Covington's only 66. We have a 72-degree mark in Lexington where the rain has not been. Somerset and London, it's in the 80s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, thunderstorms ending, and a low of 64. Tomorrow, becoming partly sunny, an isolated thunderstorm, 82 degrees tomorrow. As we check your 8-day planner, and as we look ahead there, what you are looking at, showers and thunderstorms, a possibility Wednesday, but then not again, it looks like, until next week.
Our Chief Meteorologist, Bill Meck, and our brand new Max Track Doppler. Thanks, Bill.
Peacekeeping forces arrive in Liberia today, but is that enough to stop the fighting?
Find out what the rebel troops say when LEX 18 covers your world. Plus, a flight wakes up a neighborhood when a plane crashes into 3 houses.
And closer to home, a bread truck overturns in Cincinnati, leading to a traffic nightmare.
You're watching LEX 18 News at 5:30 with Kevin Christopher, Lisa Kaplan, True Blue coverage with Ryan Lemon, and Bill Meck with your Storm Tracker forecast. LEX 18 News, coverage you can count on.
LEX 18 News is brought to you by Bluegrass Mobility Office.
At Papa John's, we've loaded on the works. More imported olives, more baby portobello mushrooms, more green peppers and onions, more ham, pepperoni, and Italian sausage.
Order the family special now for just $18.99. That's a large Lord's pizza and a large 2-topping pizza for only $18.99.
What time is it? Subaru all-wheel drive time. Time to get it all. Up to $2,000 in customer cash rebates depending on model, and financing as low as 0% APR. Time to get incredible savings on an incredible all-wheel drive 2003 Outback, Legacy, or Baja. That's up to $2,000 in customer cash rebates and 0% financing. Hurry to Subaru all-wheel drive time now, because time runs out September 2nd.
Honey, these bank statements just don't add up.
Have you been writing down your ATM transactions?
Oh, these things? There's got to be an easier way.
There is. It's called CentralNet from Central Bank. You can do practically all your banking online, including reconciling your accounts 24 hours a day, all with the 24-hour customer support you'd expect from Central Bank.
Wow, now if they could just help explain how we're spending all the money we thought we had.
If you're ready for banking that fits your life, get set for CentralNet, only from Central Bank.
Don't know, don't care. Transferring.
Transferring.
Kim, you're the customer. What more could you want?
One person who could actually help me?
Transferring.
Do we think alike or what? At Alltel, we focus on how well we can answer your questions about phone service, not how fast we can transfer your call. Get Alltel DSL, hyper fast, always on, for $34.95 a month. Sign up now and get a free modem and free activation. Answers instead of transfers?
You got that right.
Alltel.
Year after year, decade after decade, families come back to stay in Gatlinburg again and again. Maybe it's because there's so much to do. Enjoy local history, music, and arts and crafts at the Heritage Festival, August 15th through the 30th. Start a Gatlinburg tradition with your family. Call 1-800-56-VISIT for a free vacation guide.
They're coming! Domino's Dots are coming!
Big flavors coming your way. New cheesy Domino's Dots, smothered in delicious Colby and Monterey Jack cheese. Get an order of cheesy Domino's Dots for 99 cents when you buy any large one-topping pizza for $9.99. Get the door. It's cheesy Domino's Dots.
The first wave of peacekeeping forces arrived in Liberia today.
300 Nigerian peacekeepers entered Monrovia in the hopes of helping end months of bloody violence there. That's where we begin LEX 18, covering your world. The peacekeepers faced the difficult task of keeping the rebels under control. The leader of the largest rebel faction pledged his troops would leave the front lines now that the Nigerian troops have arrived. Medical supplies, food, and clothing from Britain made it to Liberia this morning. 2 people were killed when a small jet flew into several homes in southern Connecticut. Police and aviation officials say the Learjet hit 3 houses before it crashed into a river this morning. Authorities say it had just left a nearby airport on Long Island. The pilot and passenger were killed. Hundreds of people saw it happen, but no one on the ground was hurt. Parts of Interstate 71 and 471 in Cincinnati were closed today after a butternut bread truck flipped over, trapping the driver for more than an hour. The steering wheel and part of the cab impaled the driver, who had to be airlifted to a local hospital. The cause of the accident is still unknown, but that area of the accident between Fort Washington Way and 471 is known to be notoriously curvy. And officials in Mali have received a videotape of a group of European tourists who were abducted in the Sahara Desert, which confirms a ransom note made by their abductors. A German news agency reports that a suspected Islamic group is demanding $5 million for each of the 15 hostages. One German hostage was reported to have died from heat stroke. The tourists were seized while traveling without their guides. And that's LEX 18 covering your world at 5:30.
Coming up, Episcopalians are just one vote away from having a new bishop, but serious allegations against the former Lexington Reverend may slow down that process.
Well, that story's coming up at 6. Plus, a warehouse at the Jim Beam Distillery is on fire in Nelson County, and lightning might be the possible cause.
But straight ahead, a Consumer Watch alert for all you drivers. Several recalls to tell you about when we return.
Check this out. KFC does the impossible. Gets families together again.
They're all in there together. They're talking together. They're laughing together. How did she do that?
Get a 10-piece meal of the Colonel's Finger Lickin' Good Chicken, plus 2 home-style sides and 4 biscuits, just $13.99. And try our new Honey Barbecue Boneless Wings, 7 for only $2.99. Get the family together, as only KFC can.
You get the kids, I'll get the KFC. We're gonna eat together.
Together?
I have to move my snake to Toledo.
I need this packed well.
Most of it is shoes.
I love this thing.
Don't jostle it.
It looked a lot smaller in the picture.
If anything happens to this, I will really get medieval on you.
Lots of customers are out there. Introducing the best way to get more of them. The Real Yellow Pages from Bell South. Covering Lexington and surrounding areas better than any other book. And covering them in more ways than anyone else. To advertise, call 1-800-GET-REAL.
I'm gonna need a big truck.
The Kentucky State Fair presents Goo Goo Dolls. Friday, August 15th at Freedom Hall. Stranger than your sympathy. With Sugar Ray. Goo Goo Dolls and Sugar Ray. Special guest Uncle Cracker. Tickets are on sale now. Presented by the Kentucky State Fair.
Hey, sir, we need another turkey ranch and bacon.
Here you go.
Hey, go ahead. You try wrapping these things with one lousy thumb. One lousy thumb.
Get all the goodness of Arby's oven-roasted turkey, plus thick-cut pepper bacon and creamy ranch, all on bakery soft honey wheat bread.
So I'll just stick to the ovens.
Yeah.
How about the slicer?
No.
Try Arby's Market Fresh Turkey Ranch and Bacon.
What are you eating today?
NBC Tonight. It's hot fear in the summer on Fear Factor.
I'm ready.
Then on For Love or Money 2, Aaron has rejected 10 men, but the game has changed. Someone will reject her for cash.
Can I ask how much?
Finally, on Who Wants to Marry My Dad, only 2 episodes remain, and he may be falling in love.
There is a real connection between us.
But it's the kid's decision.
My boys take out the garbage at my house.
Well, this isn't your house.
Fear Factor, For Love or Money 2, and Who Wants to Marry My Dad, NBC Tonight.
We have an LEX 18 Consumer Watch alert for car owners tonight. GM is recalling their Saturn L Series cars made between 2000 and 2003. There's a faulty ignition control that could trigger a fire. They're also recalling the Buick Rendezvous made from 2002 to 2003 to reinforce the support around the rear lift gate. Mazda plans to recall the Mazda 6 Miata and MPV made from 2001 through 2003 due to a fog lamp socket that could come loose and set the bumper on fire. There's also a recall for Mazda 6 sedans, so an indicator in the brake fluid reservoir can be fixed. And Nissan is recalling its 2003 Infiniti G35 coupes and sedans to fix a brake lamp switch. If it fails, it causes the brake light to stay off when in use. Hey, do you hate getting that phone call during dinner from a telemarketer? Well, so far, people just like you have registered nearly 25 million phone numbers on the national Do Not Call list.
But there are some problems and loopholes that could mean more telemarketing calls now than ever before. Nancy Cox has tonight's LEX 18 Consumer Watch.
Harry got a shock the first time he looked in the mirror.
Tanya Norton's a stay-at-home mom with 4 very good reasons not to be bothered by telemarketers.
With 4 children, and you just sit down to dinner and you're trying to get, you know, everybody eating and drinks and all that, and the phone starts ringing. It's very, very, very annoying.
Norton signed up for the Do Not Call registry. 20 million others did too via the internet. Another 4.5 million by phone. But Norton says right after registering, she got even more calls.
I thought it was hilarious. I felt like it was kind of a last-ditch effort on their part to try and get in as many calls as they could before it took effect.
The Federal Trade Commission won't begin enforcement until October 1st, and many online consumers are forgetting an important step. After you sign up, the FTC sends you an email. You must click on the link within 72 hours to register your number. When you register matters too. Sign up before August 31st. Expect fewer calls after October 1st. Sign up September 1st or later, and telemarketers can call for 3 months after the day you register. And it won't stop all calls. Political organizations, charities, telephone surveyors, and companies you do business with, like your phone, cable, or credit card companies, still can call unless you ask them not to. The FTC says it should stop most calls. Companies that don't comply could face fines of $11,000 a call. Norton hopes that sends a powerful message.
But let us call you, don't call us anymore.
Covering consumer news, Nancy Cox, LEX 18 News.
Now, you can only sign up your personal number on the list, and your registration expires 5 years from the date you sign. Then you'll need to re-register.
As always, we'll take a look at the day on Wall Street.
And that's up next in the LEX 18 Bloomberg after the Bell Report.
The Rich Brooks era is underway at the University of Kentucky, but along with Rich Brooks comes lots of new faces. We'll visit with one of UK's new assistant coaches coming up in our LEX 18 True Blue coverage.
To tell you how new and different our DQ Triple Chocolate Utopia is, we thought, let's do something really different. How about free for triplets?
You must think I'm crazy.
What's the problem?
Where'd you girls get him from?
I'm big boned.
Ooh, yes you are.
Maybe not. The new DQ Triple Chocolate Utopia. Vanilla soft serve topped with chocolate chunks, cocoa fudge, and brownie pieces. Do a Triple Chocolate Utopia and DQ something different.
I got a thyroid issue?
Guys, during the Dodge Summer Sales Drive, you can get the sporty neon SXT. Sporty! Or the hot-looking Stratus SXT. Smokin'!
And now grab up to $3,000 cash allowance or 0% financing for up to 60 months, making the Dodge SXT with sporty wheels and kickin' CD sound an even bigger value.
And they're backed by our 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
Let us prove we've got the best values in America. See your Dodge dealer today.
A healthy smile. It's easy to get. With braces, it's never too late. Throughout Lexington and Nicholasville, Dr. Huffman makes getting braces easy, with no down payment and low monthly payments. Just call 1-800-4BRACES today.
Just when America figured out what a beautiful thing a pizzone is.
So this is a pizzone.
Pizza Hut cooked up a new question. Which pizzone is right for you? Look out, you got 3 irresistible pizzone pizza recipes. Now 1 for just $5.99 or 2 for $10.99. Is it the pepperoni lovers with mucho pepperoni? The meat lovers pizzone with 5 kinds of savory meats? Or the classic pizzone with a medley of toppings? What's your pizzone pleasure? Try them all. 1 for $5.99 or 2 for $10.99. You only get a beautiful choice like this when you gather around the good stuff.
Right now, you can help feed the need right here in the Bluegrass by donating food items at these Walmart locations, or make a money donation at any local Fifth Third bank. So help feed the need right now.
Get your Storm Tracker forecast at work and on the road on 98.1 The Bull.
The markets rebounded from morning losses after telecom stocks rallied.
Here's Deborah Costrin with the LEX 18 Bloomberg after the Bell Report.
Wall Street was dialed into the markets today. Shares of Quest Communications also rallied after it said that it's in negotiations to sell its wireless phone assets. The news came after it announced plans to switch its mobile phone customers to Sprint's network. Meanwhile, Verizon shares rose as talks with its 2 unions continued. A union spokesman said the 2 sides have made substantial progress in averting a possible strike. Still, concerns about rising interest rates kept things in check, and at the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 32 points. The S&P 500 picked up 2, while the Nasdaq lost 1.5 points. Monster Worldwide suffered the biggest drop in the S&P. AOL Time Warner replaced the company's Monster.com website with CareerBuilder.com as its source for job postings. And another big loser was a company called CV Therapeutics. The drug developer said U.S. regulators canceled a review of its drug for heart-related problems because of a lack of time to complete tests. And that's the latest in business. I'm Deborah Costrin with Bloomberg after the Bell Report.
We're getting closer and closer to the big UK U of L football game. Ryan Lemon continues to get us ready for kickoff in our LEX 18 True Blue coverage.
27 days and counting. We're now less than 4 weeks away from kickoff between the Cats and the Cards. Now, even though the hiring of Rich Brooks as the new UK head football coach raised some eyebrows, no one can argue with the staff that Brooks has brought to Lexington. Alan Cutler introduces us to the new defensive backs coach in today's LEX 18 True Blue coverage.
Improving the defensive backs seems to be a goal every year. The new coach, Steve Brown, not only played cornerback for 8 years in the NFL, but was the secondary coach for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl.
Hopefully we can have some correlation between that and winning the national championship or the SEC.
Achieving in Lexington is beating Louisville. Brown and the new staff hope to take that to the next level. A lot of people have the feeling that if you're a coach, you were when you played a student of the game. In Steve Brown's case, it wasn't true. As a matter of fact, he tries to communicate that to his players, that he wishes they wouldn't be like he was. Brown had a successful NFL career, but there are regrets. He hopes to communicate that to his players.
Never as good as I wanted to be, put it that way. I mean, I thought I played pretty well, but I wish that I'd had studied it like I know it now as a coach. I wish I'd taken that approach as a player. And that's one thing I try to reiterate to these guys, that time flies and all of a sudden you're done and you can't look back and say, what if?
Not only do the players have to adjust to Brown, which is normal, but Brown is adjusting to coaching in college.
There's so much more you have to deal with as far as you know, the academics and making sure they're in class. And I've kind of initially told them, I said, listen, I got 2 little boys at home. I don't need any more kids, but I have fun with them. It's been quite an experience so far.
Alan Cutler, LEX 18 Sports.
Now, all of the UK football players report on Wednesday. The first practice is Thursday, Media Day is Friday, and then Fans Day is on Saturday at Commonwealth Stadium. Now, coming up in LEX 18 Sports at 6, we'll visit the Eastern Kentucky football camp. The Colonels had their first practice today down in Richmond. Kevin, Lisa, back to you.
All right, Ryan, we look forward to it. Thanks.
New allegations against a Lexington native and Episcopalian reverend that may delay the church's vote for a new bishop.
That's coming up at 6. Plus, there's breaking news. A fire is burning at the Jim Beam distillery, and bad weather may have sparked the flames.
But up next, a dry spell in Europe has uncovered some buried treasures.